Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this tutorial, I will show you how to implement logging in your .NET application with Serilog. But before we do that, let's understand what is logging and what it means in our API or application development. Logging in programming refers to the practice of recording activities or events that occur during the execution of a program. These events are typically saved to a file or database for later analysis or debugging. Logging is an essential tool for developers to understand what their code is doing, debug issues, and monitor the behavior of their applications in various environments. And this environment could be on test environment, on pilot environment, or on production environment. With the help of a effective logging, you'll be able to monitor and know what is going on or what went wrong in your application if there's any issue. So we have types of logging framework. These are Serilog, Nlog, Log4net, Microsoft.extension, .logging. These are just few type of framework, but they are not limited to this, right? But in this tutorial, our focus is on Serilog, how to use it effectively. We also have some log level, which include trace, debug, information, warning, error, critical. So trace contains the most detailed message. These messages may contain sensitive app data. These messages are disabled by default and should not be enabled in production. However, you can enable it while you are still developing your application, but don't enable it on production. Debug. Debugging and development it kindly use it with caution in production or don't even enable it at all when going live. Information. This track the general flow of the app and may have long time value, and this is highly recommended when going live. For abnormal, this is what warning for abnormal or unexpected event typically includes errors or conditions that don't cause the app to fail. Error. For errors, exception that cannot be handled, this message indicates a failure in the current operation or request. So we see this in action, how we can implement error log level and how to use it effectively in our application. So why Serilog? Like many other libraries for .NET, Serilog provides diagnostic logging to files, the console, and elsewhere, and this could be file. It is easy to set up. It has a clean API and it is possible between recent .NET platform. Unlike other logging libraries, Serilog is built with a powerful structured event data in mind, and this is the reason why I use Serilog and why I want to talk about Serilog, and I also want to teach you how to use Serilog effectively. So guys, let's see how it works in action. Let's dive into coding and to see how to use Serilog effectively. So I'll be using our existing projects created from our API development series. So I'll stop it from running now and then let's see how we can implement logging or how to add logging into our application. So the first thing to do is to go to Solution Explorer, right click on it, select Manage NuGet Package, then search for Serilog. So the library you're looking for is serilog.aspnet. .asp.aspnet. This is it. Serilog.aspnet core. Then click install. Accept. So having done that, the next thing is to go to our program file.cs to configure the Serilog that we just installed now. Okay. All right. So this is the log. Then let's bring in the namespace that we just installed now. Press Ctrl period and then bring in the Serilog. Okay. Now we have log.logger. Just invite this log class.logger, then instantiate this logger configurations and then add the remaining lines of code. So this is to set the minimum level, and the minimum level that we are setting here is to override the default Microsoft extension. By default, when you create your Microsoft project, I beg your pardon, when you create your .NET project, it comes with Microsoft.extension.login. However, we are overriding it for you to use Serilog extension or to use Serilog event. That is why we are overriding it here. And then if you want to write to console, kindly include this. And if you don't want to write to console, please ignore it. And then the minimum level I set here is information. But for development purpose, you can set it to debug. But while going like, please change it to information. And then the next thing is to add is let's add to our pipeline to use Serilog. Then by using the building, beg your pardon, builder dot services dot add Serilog. Dot add Serilog. Having done that, so let's log some information here. Uh, Adding this log dot information dot. So what are we logging? Then let's have message here. Let's say what's the name of our app? Our app is employee record. Now let's have employee record app API is starting at then. So by default, right? Or Serilog simplify it for us by calling this curly bracket like bracket and then at then date. So it's starting is deserializing the object or by default. And then what I'm adding here is date time dot now. So having done that, the next thing is to configure our Serilog from our app settings.json. Let's quickly do that. So from our app settings.json, right? So let's override this because when you create your project, this comes with it by default. Let's override it with Serilog settings, right? So I just pasted it now. So Serilog and then set the minimum level to be information, or when you are developing, set it to debug. Then move to write to. So write to and then I'm also writing to a console here, but our focus now is to write to a file. So write to the name equals to file. Then let's pass the argument. Pass the formatter to be this seller.formatting.json.json formatter. The path. Then path format. Path format is how the app will be saved or how the log will be saved in our file. And then retain file counts. So this is 7 and then some might set it to 30 or 31. This simply means that You want to retain the latest 31 file because each file is created every day, and this is where we are setting it to be creating file every day. Rolling interval, I set it to day. This is because at every day I want it to create a new file instead of having the log inside a single file. Create a new file every day, and this is why we have our log file name to use date format to save it in date format. It's going to be logs and then the date of that particular date, and then it's going to be doc text. So this is the path, and this is the folder that is going to save our file to, and then the output. This output is how it will be displayed in our log file. So let's quickly say this and run our application to see how it works. So let's take a look at our folder structure. If we look at it closely, so inside our folder structure, currently we do not have anything logged. But the moment we launch this application, log folder will be created and a file in it. So let's run our application. All right, guys, our application is up and running now. So let's quickly check the folder structure to see if it has created our log folder. Oh yes, we have it created. This is it. And then just as I explained to you, right? Look at it. Part format, we have logs and then the date 2024, and then today is 4. I beg your pardon, today is 14, and then the month is April. So we have our file saved now. I mean our log created. So let's stop the application from running and then let's see what we have inside the log file. The reason why we have to stop it from running is because we won't be able to access this file while it's running. So let's stop it from running and then see what we have in the file. Stop, then go back to Solution Explorer. Let's click it and see what we have. Yes, guys, we have the file setup. Look at it. Employee record app API is starting at this is also date and the time. So if you look at it, we have this guy enabled. Yeah, so look at it now, and then we have the same thing that we have here. We have it inside the log file. So let's see how we can use this in our application, either at when we are fetching requests or when you are saving record to the database. So the first thing I will do is to go to my account service. Then from account service, then let me let's inject the interface into our account service constructor. Right, wait to read only iLogger, then you pass the name of your service here or class here, logger. So inject it into a constructor. Yeah, we have it injected. So let's first use it on our get or record method. So I'll be adding it here, logger dot information, then so what am I logging? So I'll just copy the message here, add it, then command results. Okay, let's run the app, see what we have, run it. Right, the app is running. I have many options or different options to run my application or to call the endpoint. I can call it directly from a Swagger, or I can call it from my application, right? So, but I'll be calling it from my application. Just click on send request. Then we have our response here. So for some of you that does not know how we implement this, I've created a video on it, how to call your application within your IDE, right? Without using any of the testing. I mean, without using any of the API testing tools. I have the video. So I will drop it in the description, right? So let's go and check our log file. But before we can do that, we have to stop the application from running. So you all know that we can access the file while the app is running. So what we are expected to see in the file is this guy. We are expected to see this guide, record successfully retrieved, and then to see to see the data that was received. So let's stop it from running. Then go to my solution explorer, open the file. Right, guys, we have it here. Record successfully retrieved. However, the data that we retrieve from the database is not here. And the reason why is because we did not instruct Serilog to serialize the object that is coming from the database. So to do that, what we are going to do is to just add this statement, then hat, then result. It could be anything, it could be result, and then implement set it to data. But let's see what we have now. Get record. Let me use Swagger this time. Right, we have the data. So let's stop the application from running, and then let's go and check a log file. Solution, open it. So this is the first time we ran the application. So record successfully retrieved, and then let's scroll down. Yeah, this is when we fix the issue. Record successfully retrieved, and these are the data coming from the database. Look at it, they are much. However, so when you are going to production or when you are going live, I do not advise you to log what is coming from the database, especially if the record are much like this. So you don't need to log it because it will just be clogging your log file to make it increase the size of your log file. So look at it. So this is one of the reasons why I love using Serilog. Look at the endpoint that I called. So look out first, like then this is API account, then get all record. So if there is any problem in my application, this guy will log it for me and it will be easy for me to debug and fix the issue. Because the moment you deploy your application to the cloud, you are not there, and the best way to monitor the activity of your application is to introduce or to implement a logging system. And I love Serilog so much because it is structured and it is very easy to read. So the next thing here is to how to use error. When there is an error, because this is just we are logging an information. If it's an error, we are going to have this guy to be error. So let's go ahead and implement error in an application. So now if there is an exception, we want to log it. However, we don't want to throw the exact error. Okay, let me show you what uh, I want you to see. What I wanted to explain. Let me show you how it works. So I want to introduce a custom message first. So let's see the error item. So let's go call the logger dot error. Then what is the error? So let's have the error message. error, error call, while calling, what is the name of the method that are calling? While calling gets or record, while calling gets error method, and what is the error here? The error is as ex, then the exception. So to manage this error now, what I'm going to do is I will go to my app settings. I'm going to change the name of the database. I'll add one to it because I know that I don't have this database. So employee DB1, because this does not exist, definitely it's going to throw an exception. So let's see that in action. Then run the application again. So the app is running now. Then let me call the endpoint, try it out, execute. So guys, this might take time to 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 return a response because I in my application I have retry mechanism enabled, right? Look at it. So so if there is a failure in the database and this guy will retry it within 30 seconds, like 6 times. So and the reason is because, for example, if you are the one that if you are the type that use MS Square Server. So Microsoft promise their uptime to be 99.9%. If there is any for any reason and there is a downtime, so this will give your application opportunity to retry to reach the database before it return an error. So let's see what we have. So this is taking time because of the retry mechanism. So let's wait for it. So guys, we have the response now. Look at the exception, right? The maximum number of retries, the 6 was exceeded. While executing database operation with this, with this. So, and this simply means that, look at it, cannot open the database because it does not exist. So this is the reason why I said, so this is not good enough for us to return what actually went wrong in our application. So let's manage that now to return a customized message to the user. Stop the application from running, then go back to account service. What I'll do here is to let me grab this guy, copy this guy. Then instead of throw, I'm going to have a customized message, and the message is going to be internal error server. Sorry, internal server error. Internal server error. Then change the status code to internal server error. Then just return um so empty object of employee. Right. So we still have our block error message and then error occur, return empty object of employee list. So internal server error. All right, let's run it again. So call the endpoint, execute. All right, guys, we have a response and then let's check it out. Oh, look at it. Internal server error. Then the starter code is 500. So this is how we can introduce a customized message if there is a failure in our application. And the next thing now I want us to look at is how to handle a request or payload that is coming in. So let's quickly introduce that on our create account method. So here what I'll be logging is the request that is coming from the user, right? Not the one that I sent to the database, because I want to log and see what the user is sending to my endpoint. Like, so log information, logger dot log information. Then what will be the message, comma, payload is coming directly from the user. The message is going to be, okay, create account request, and just use the name of the method, create account request. Then that's payload. Right. So I'm logging this guy. Then the exception is going to be the same thing. So let's copy what we have from get all record. Let's copy this guy. Let's use it here. Then it's not, the return type is not a list. Change this guy. And don't forget, so let's change the name of the database to a valid database name. Then let's run the app. So while the app is running, so let me go to my, would like to continue on here. So there's a build error. So let's check it out, fix the issue. Error. Name ES does not exist. Oh, okay. Supposed to have this guy here. Yeah. So complaint was about this one. So now let's run it now. You have it running now. Alright. So this is my payload. Let me change this one to Alesto. John Alice. Then it's going to be John Alice. Alice at gmail.com. Then send request. Yeah, account is created, right? So let's stop the application from running. Then let's check the log file if we have it's logged. Scroll down. So this is request. Yeah, this is it. Create account request, and this is what we sent to the database. So guys, this is how to implement logging in our ASP.NET application with Serilog. So if you find this tutorial useful, please subscribe and share. And then if you want me to make more video on this or more video like this, please comment. Let me have your comments in the comment section, and let me know what you think about this. Thank you. See you in my next video. Bye.